What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Montana Method podcast. One more time, as always, your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., a.k.a. Montana, author, creator, director, and everything under the sun of Montana Method. This week, I have a very special guest, Mr. Official Heir 305 is in the building.
Speaking of the sun, hottest under the sun, you feel me? Hottest in the three.
El Principe. So, very excited to have him in our space. We already recorded a show on his podcast, which is yet to air, to be announced.
The Aircast coming soon.
And it was very exciting. It had a great vibe, so I felt obligated to, return the favor, have him on my show. So we're going to have a great day today. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting topics. He's a pretty interesting guy. We had a good chemistry on his show, so I'm sure it's going to be the same today. Stick around. Don't move a muscle. Get ready. Elijah, kick it.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.
El Príncipe. What's up, bro?
El Heredero. For those that don't know Spanish or are familiar, and they're like, that's not how you say heir in Spanish. It's not Príncipe, that's Prince. But yeah, same thing. Synonym.
El Heredero. Yeah, it's the heir. I mean, the heir to the throne, right? That's a prince.
Heir to the throne, heir to the shones. Hey, I'm there. Heir with the hair now.
That's funny. Heir to the shones. I haven't heard that anyone use that word in a very long time.
Real Miami shit.
That's
Don't curse on the pod, my bad. I don't want to. But.
Nah, yeah, you're fine. What was that Flow Rider song? You could be my Sean. You remember that one?
That's another one too, but I remember there's some shows on that. Got some shows
Bro, those songs are
and
so
I'm
old.
Vibing.
Those songs are so old, man.
Classics,
you
man.
you only, if you're from Miami, you know about like those Flow Rider Briscoe songs. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God,
Classics.
That whole era. What class of high school?
2013. Yeah.
So yeah, what?
Yeah, right there.
That's not too far. I'm 2010. You're only 3 years behind me.
You were a senior when I was a freshman.
Right. So the songs I used to listen to in high school, you listen to in middle school. Same difference.
Yeah, and the house parties too. We were listening to all the same stuff.
Right. So you remember, bro, that whole Soulja Boy era, right? And then he kind of died out, and you had that whole season of super horrible music. And then Lil Wayne came out, and he basically was single-handedly changed everything. Like,
I love music, man. When people say like hip hop was dead or there was a bad season of music,
not dead. It wasn't dead. It was popping, but it wasn't good. The music was trash.
I've always thought music good. Like in that same era right now, I'm thinking that's when T.I. dropped Big Shit Poppin', one of my favorite songs. That's when T.I. did T.I. versus T.I.P., one of the rawest.
No, that was after. That was later.
06, 05?
That was a little.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Remember, seasons are short. So, no, but T.I. went on a rampage, bro. Everything from like, Stand Up was good, but for me, Urban Legend, that was like a classic album. And then he came out with King. King, oh my God, bro, what a good album.
Yeah.
And then T.I. versus T.I.P., forget about it. That was on another level.
Classic.
Bro, just on that one album, T.I. versus T.I.P., you have My Swag with Wyclef Jean. That's not even a single. That's it.
Live Your Life is like one of his biggest songs of all time.
Biggest songs ever. He had another song. No, and then if you go back, I'm like, bro, T.I. is such a legend, bro.
What's the first T.I. song you ever heard?
Damn, that's a good question. I've been listening to T.I. since I was a little kid, dude. The first ever, I think it was that one song, the Stand Up, was it? Yeah, with Lil Jon, I think, maybe.
Wow,
Stand Up.
that's raw. My first one was, don't you know I got a T by the 3 when I chirp, shorty chirp back, Louis knapsack, where I'm holding all the work at. What you know about that? I saw the video on MTV. I was like, wow, this is wild. Black and white.
He was on top of the game for sure.
Yeah. Then he snitched, and imagine.
Bro, that's all. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so, and then in that same era, you had Ludacris came out with amazing music.
Shout out Luda, very underrated rapper. I think one of the hardest rappers of all time. Doesn't get his due because he's an actor.
All his intros and all his albums are super hard.
Like,
You hear his intros and he's just going in like wordplay and punchlines and it just killing it. He's a great rapper.
His singles, even when it comes to like, pimping all over the world, stand up. Yeah, when I move, you move. It's tremendo songwriting, tremendo verses, not just hooks, but Luda's very underrated, I think.
The first Luda song I ever heard was it called not Southern Hospitality, the other one he did. Give me from your head
to your toes, and I wanna move to the bed, down to the floor. Yeah, classic.
Hip hop has had such great eras. That Southern rap, that era of like Atlanta rappers that came up, and then for the longest time, the only guy out of Miami was Trick Daddy. He was the crazy thing is he was the only one from Miami for years, bro, years. I mean, before him, you had Uncle Luke and you had like 2 Live Crew and all that shit. But that was more Miami bass, booty shaking music.
And another thing too, those are like groups. Uncle Luke, although it's one person, he had acts associated with him. Some would even argue Trick Daddy didn't make it out of Miami because he kind of stayed there. But they feel like Ross, Flow Rider, they kind of broke the mold and like became international, worldwide. Ross signed him.
But Trick had a minute there where
Trick did his thing. Yeah, he had some big records.
He had the respect of a lot of bigger guys in like hip hop, and so he held it down for a minute, dude. And granted, he didn't get to the level of like a Rick Ross or obviously not a Pitbull.
The internet also wasn't as prevalent at the time that he dropped. He was a little bit earlier than Ross and everybody, so that's a big thing that helped those guys. But shout out Trick, shout out Ross, shout out all the Miami OGs, because without them, Miami scene wouldn't be flourishing like it is now. Now we got 100%. The underground scene. It's growing, and I'm so proud of it, man, because a couple of years ago, it was nothing going on, and it was just everybody trying to make it by themselves. And now you see a lot more collaborations. You see a shout out to the weekly ciphers in Wynwood every week, every Tuesday and Thursday and Saturdays. Amazing, and it just makes me so proud, because growing up in Miami, I've always been jealous and envious of New York, all these other hip hop scenes. It's like, wow, I wish I could go out to the city and find freestyle places, find, open mics, find places to just see other people in the sport. And if it wasn't for the internet, it'd be hard to find that. And nowadays, you're starting to see it in real life, IRL, as the kids say, as opposed to, just seeing it online and kind of wishing and dreaming about it. So.
Yeah. It is more prevalent nowadays, for sure. It wasn't such a thing. I remember in high school when you had those 2 or 3 kids that would like freestyle battle. It was like, oh, my God.
You could name them all, and they're like, oh, the 3 kids that rap. Yeah, we all know them. Now everybody raps. Who doesn't rap?
Yeah, definitely. So, and there's a lot of local talent that, because of the internet, you're able to see. Like, if it wasn't for YouTube, if it wasn't for Instagram, you wouldn't be able to know who they are. There's this local guy. He's a friend of mine named Apollo Lofton. I don't know.
Shout out Apollo Lofton.
Apollo, bro. That whole thing that happened when he found out where Drake was and he pulled up at the restaurant with a boombox. Yeah. That's legendary. Shout out to Apollo, bro. That's some legendary shit. Yeah. But had it not been for social media, he never would have found out where Drake was. No one would have ever heard about his story. Like it's powerful what you can do with the internet. The problem is people focus on the negative side of it, and they use it to use it. Oh no, I'm bored. Let me just desk scroll and be here for 6 hours and not do anything productive with my life, instead of using it for what you can really use it for, which is to improve your life and further expand your goals and take you to levels you never would have been without the internet and social media. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like as humans, we don't have the mental bandwidth to receive all this information at one time.
That's true.
And we're just now, I was going to say we're starting to evolve, but I don't think we are. But the truth is, when it comes to like death scrolling and things like that, it's just a lack of type of content. Because if you're constantly scrolling, you just haven't found something that's engaging you. Most of the things I'm digesting now, it's like long form content where it's a podcast where I have to be engaged for an hour, at least listen for an hour. If not, I'm doing the 20-minute intervals where it's like, all right, I'm not focused right now, I'm not enjoying it, let me pause it, I'll come back to it. So it's hard to just, kind of scroll looking for things like that constantly if you're locked into something. But if you're just looking for the next thing, a quick hit of dopamine.
I'm a podcast consumer as well. Like, I like long form content, and I can't. The only podcast I can't consume all in one sitting is like Joe Rogan, because it's 3 hours. Obviously.
It's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
But I'll watch 45 minutes and then another 45 minutes. Like, I like podcasts. I like sitting there and watching, that kind of. That's why I became a podcaster. Because Joe Rogan 100% was my influence. It was no one else. I love the fact that this guy was like, man, he had this idea to just sit around with people and have interesting conversations, and he was like, man, people are gonna want to listen to this. Let me put this out there. And it was horrible at first. If you watch the first episode, it's like, bro, this guy's like getting super high on mushrooms and like saying all this weird.
It was different, and they're just kind of figuring it out. We had this conversation when we did my pod. This is an art form. This is definitely a skill that everybody thinks you just set up the cameras and start talking. No, it's learning when to talk, learning when to chime in, learning when to let the other person do his thing, 100%. Learning when to, all right, let me add this. If not, I'll forget, things like that, or being able to not add it at the moment and still holding on to it and bringing it out. I'm still learning to do that. Like earlier when you introduced me, you were saying jack of all trades. You were saying how my pod was great, and I was like, I was so desperate desperately trying to say, yeah, real recognize real, but I had to let you do your intro. And like, that's something my mind is still figuring out as we go, as I do other people's shows, as people do my show. So it's definitely an art form, man. And one thing I love about this, I don't know if you feel it, but I learned so much about myself doing the little bit of editing I've done so far. I check myself. I've said, oh, I don't like how I did that. I don't like how I feel like I tuned out. Even if I'm not tuned out, it seems like I am. So now I'm starting to realize things like, oh, just like, okay, yes. Like, kind of a call and response, or like, reiterating, recorroborating the information, letting the speaker know you're listening, things like that. And not that I've always felt like I don't have to do that because I'm engaged into what you're saying and I'm just visualizing in my mind. But now I see that my guests like it more when I'm like, 100%. Yeah, right, sure, things like that. Just letting you know I'm here.
And I've learned even about myself, I've learned different things I never really would have been interested in. Like, I'll invite people and we'll talk about, like, that's why I let the conversation take an organic path, like an organic, way of just letting itself evolve, because I get to points and I talk about subjects I never would have picked myself. The person that, for instance, I had one of my first episodes I did in a studio was my friend Sin. She's super into spirituality, and so am I. But she took it another route and talked about her life story, and it tied into a whole bunch of other things I never could have brought up on my, like, asking her a question. I kind of let the conversation take that form, and it becomes a whole different thing. And then I learn and I find things I'm interested in that I never would have found out about otherwise. You know what I mean? So podcasting for me is a lot of self-discovery. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about what I'm interested in life, what drives me. I've learned a lot about just so many different things in general. There's a lot of personal growth that goes into this, because these conversations that I sit down with people and I learned so much of, not just about them, but about life, because we talk about different things. And that, like, your perspective on the world, it really is 10x, 15x, 20x, 100x after doing this process, for sure.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing that we could all have a different concept of what that color is right there. That's the tripod sense. To me, it's like an orange, almost going into burgundy shades.
To me, it's a red.
It's a red.
There you go.
Madness. Yeah, the power of perspective, POP, hold it down.
There you go, POP. So, my brother, how this all went down, so everybody has a backstory. Basically, what happened was, when I started podcasting and I started doing my thing, his father reached out to me. He's like, yo, let's have you on the pod. I went on his father's podcast. We had a great time. Obviously, I'm a man of courtesy, and I show courtesy when it's due and give credit when it's due. So I invited his father on my podcast. One of the best episodes I've had.
Shout out Apex. Shout out my dad.
Yeah, we talked about so many different things. We had a great conversation about success and envy, and at that time they had done the whole Ice Cube versus Biggie on Drake Champs. We talked about that.
That was what's going on at the time.
DJ EFN had commented on there, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool, So
shout out EFN,
Drake Champs. Shout out to EFN. So yeah, man, like there's that's how that kind of went down. And then I saw you started making content, and that was pretty cool. And then here we are. So, one thing led to another. I had Trigger Mike on my show.
Yeah.
I know that's a good friend of yours.
My dog. We got a record that's streaming out now.
Dope.
Oh, yeah. California Dreaming everywhere. Go check that out. Banger record, man. Trigger Mike's a gangster. Highly a Chico.
We go way back. He's known me since like 2006, 2007. Yeah, he's known me for a minute. They used to call him Big Mike in high school.
Big Mike.
Because he was bigger than everybody. He's a big guy.
Then it naturally evolved into Trigger Mike.
Trigger Mike. Yeah. Trigger Man. Shout out
Trigger
to
Man. Yeah, we got to do something together, all three of us. Me and him on the record. You doing like the intro?
Yeah. That'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be dope. Yeah, my boy Richie, he had me do an intro for a record he's working on. It's called The Bad Guy.
The Bad Guy,
Yeah, so you can imagine.
Perfect guy to get on
as soon as he started, like when he was making the lyrics and everything, he's like, bro, how can I not have Nelson on this record? I have to,
Wow.
Yeah. I'm so associated with Scarface that when anybody has anything, like any kind of project with Scarface going on, I'm the first person they call. I love that shit.
It's the goal. It's branding.
Yeah. 100%.
That's what we're going for. You're the
100%.
Scarface guys.
Yeah.
Montana.
You know what's crazy? That movie, so going back to different perspectives on things, I see red and you see orange or whatever. To this day, I'll watch that movie and I'll see I'll see another spin on like a life lesson I can learn from that movie. I've watched that movie well over 30 times. Bro, like the other day, I was at a friend of mine's house, and he knew I was coming over, so he put the movie on. He's like, no, I started watching the movie. So we watched it together, and I explained certain things about the movie. Yeah.
Let's set the vibe for Montana.
I explained certain things about the movie that he didn't, I always get into and I turn it into like an experience for someone who hasn't seen it with me. It's cool, bro. I learned so much I was just this kid that didn't really know what life could lead to. And I didn't know the concept of goals and like wanting something in life. I had dreams, but I didn't really understand that as 11, an 11, 12-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like my parents had just gotten divorced. I was going to school. We were broke as fuck. Like I was just in this weird space, you know?
When you say you don't understand dreams, you mean like you didn't know how to get to the dream?
No, yeah, I had no concept
like
of like
plan.
Yeah.
So you have a concept of a dream, like I want to be this one.
No,
day.
no,
Well,
I
how do
dreamt.
get there?
All kids dream, of course. I had a dream, but I have no concept of how to get there.
Well, let me blow your mind, because when I was a kid, I thought I was gonna be a Power Ranger, but I thought this was like a literal form of government job. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Literally, I have this clear, vivid memory in my mind in like 2nd or 3rd grade, where like we're in the middle of class, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing math. Like I'm gonna be in the jungle one day. Like I'm gonna graduate from SWAT and being a cop.
Tony's gonna give me his helmet. Or Tommy, I'm sorry.
Tommy and Tony. Whatever. I'm sure they rotate.
Tony's going to give me his fucking M16.
The machine gun.
Tommy's going to show up in the White Ranger suit, give me his helmet, give me the fucking morphin time, give me that shit. And
I swear to God, I have this vivid image in my mind of I'm going to be running through the jungles, chasing after the ops, the bad ops. And, you know, I didn't think it was like so over-exaggerated like the Power Ranger shows, but like there has to be like real Power Rangers that are holding it down, you know, the overall force of the world. But then I kind of grew up and I realized that's not a real job. But I still, in my mind, I was like, I understand this is a process. I'm going to have to be a cop probably have to go to SWAT, because even as a kid, like before any animosity towards cops, I was like, I know I'm gonna have to be a cop, but I don't want to be a cop for a long time. I'd rather be SWAT or something cooler, and then I'll be a Power Ranger.
That's
so
funny.
I still had like in my mind it was a process. I knew I had to go step by step by step. So that's why when you say you were dreaming but you didn't know how to get to the dream, I'm like, that's what it was. You didn't like, it's more like, how am I gonna get there? It's just kind of day to day.
For me, what Scarface did for me, bro, is that it was the first dude I saw that said, I'm going to do this.
Oh.
And he did it. And you saw him go from nothing and being, like, bro, confident. Like, yo, this is me. I don't know about you guys. Ustedes están comiendo tremenda pinga. Fuck all this shit. I'm not going to wash no dishes. You big shot Fred, wanna come over with something soon. I didn't come to the United States, so break my fucking back, mijo. I was like, bro, this guy knows exactly what he wants in life, dude. Eso, like, dude... It was like, bro, this guy's like broke. There's no proof he can get this done. And he's so confident that he can, like, it's going to happen. It's already done.
Self-belief.
Bro. And then seeing him like outgrow Frank and then go through the whole thing and then become partners with Sosa. You see the evolution of the whole thing happen. And to me, it was like, bro, this guy did it. He did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but like he said how much he was making in the movie. When he had that scene when he was negotiating with a banker in his office, he's like, bro, we're bringing in 10, 15 million a month. I was like, 10, 15 million a month? I don't know people who had made 15 million in their lifetime. You know what I mean? Like that.
And at the time, 10, 15 million in like the 90s.
No, in the 80s.
Oh, that's 80s, right?
1983,
so,
bro.
Yeah, facts. So 83, 10 to 15 million is like what, 20, 30 million?
And if we're fact checking, in the movie it was 1981. So imagínate, like.
Early 80s, yeah.
15 million a month.
Yeah,
no, and in cash. Not
bread.
Fuck a bond, check, crypto. No. Cash, bro. Like, here you go, a duffel bag.
What's crazy is there's a lot of real people doing it like that didn't get killed at the end of the movie, that got into like straight business, started doing construction, libraries, and you know.
Yeah.
We'll never hear of them.
We'll never know about them. I mean, I know you and I know about a few of them. That's normal in Miami, you know. That's how the Miami of today exists because of that version of Miami. This version of Miami today, this new gold rush of 2024, and everyone, we passed Dubai on the best place to live in the world, and like, you know, people, billionaires moving here, and Leo Messi and fucking Cristiano Ronaldo and Jeff Bezos and all that shit.
Half of New York.
No, more than half of New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that subject.
Cut to that episode of his podcast.
I could go, go to another episode and you'll see my rants about these people coming here. Anyway, so this whole like 2024 gold rush, it's because of that Miami. If that Miami never happened, we wouldn't have the Miami of today.
Word. You know? It goes in cycles. There's always going to be something, you know, to bring people to a certain area.
Right.
But Miami somehow, some way, always finds itself going through these cycles. It was, you know, the Marielitos back in the 80s.
Right.
Now there's this crypto rush, or hasta the mayor, everybody's, you know, attracting, enticing people since 2020. Yeah, come. Miami's going to be a crypto hub for a long time.
And now you have this new wave. Like, bro, it's crazy. It really is like the modern day gold rush. It's wild. And it's fitting that Apple's moving their headquarters to Coral Gables.
Wow,
Miracle
I did not
Mile.
know that.
To
That's
Miracle Mile.
crazy.
Microsoft already leased a building, I think, in downtown Miami. Like,
Wow.
it's becoming the center of the world.
No, Hialeah is getting gentrified. We're born and raised in Hialeah, and like, there's already plans for these skyscrapers.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like within the next 5 years, it's gonna be unrecognizable.
Little Havana is getting squished between like Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, and Brickell. Eventually, it's not going to exist. Overtown almost doesn't exist anymore because of Wynwood. Wynwood keeps getting pushed out. Little Haiti almost doesn't exist anymore. It's getting squished between like Wynwood and El Portal. I don't know what the other part
Do
of
you
the
ever
town
see yourself moving from Miami?
is. Hell no. You're going to have to drag me out of this bitch.
Yeah.
No, bro. Fuck that. This is our city, bro.
Yeah, I love it too.
My parents came here and built this shit. My grandparents and my parents came here and built this city. This shit was nothing before they got here. Your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors too. So you want to come here and be, oh no, and then no, fuck that. My friends that leave this place that are from here but that are natives, I tell them, bro, if you do not understand that if you and I leave, it's only gonna get worse here. We have to decide what the city is, not people coming from outside. Fuck that. We gotta look. Two things are gonna happen. One good hurricane, they're all gone. That's it. They're out of here. You and me, we'll be drinking a beer. Well, I don't drink, but you know what I'm saying. We'll be drinking a beer in the middle of the hurricane.
Turned
Like,
up. Hurricane party.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
BYOB.
this is our city, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna leave my city. You know what I mean? So, guys, quick short break. We gotta pay the bills. Sponsor coming up. Gus Villa Jewelry.
Kachilulu.
Ladies and gentlemen, the familiar voice
I love
of
it.
your host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., taking a
love
quick
it. That's
detour to
awesome.
talk to
Just
you
got
about
the
the
commercial
best
fire.
jewelry
Yeah,
shop on the internet,
I do
Gus
it every 15
Villa
minutes.
Jewelry.
I'll
Let's be
over.
honest here, guys. Jewelers in
How long we been
Miami
running?
are super shady sometimes.
20
I've
minutes?
even been ripped off once or
21?
twice by one of these self-proclaimed alchemists that ended up being these weirdos who
organic.
sell you a bunch of stuff that make your neck and your fingers turn black. Let me tell you, after I met
You
my
just hit
boy
100
Gus
and
Villa, he
20,000
elevated
subs.
my bling game. The
Nice.
Gus Villa
Yeah,
team,
you can
these
ball.
guys
Because
are more than just
on
jewelry. These
this
guys are
and create
magicians
on
turning
jewelry.
metal
Jewelry.
and stone into
Wow.
your next head turner. Trust me, these pieces shine so much you can see them from outer space. Head over to GusVillaJewelry.com, and because you're a Monty, that's right, part of the Montana Method crew, you can use the promo code Montana to snatch 5% off your order. You don't just get hooked up with some shine, you get to have some dough in your pocket. Double whammy. So guys, what are you waiting for? Elevate your jewelry game. Show the world what you got. You got some style, you got some bling, you're all blinged up. Come on back after you do that. We've got more Montana Method Madness waiting for you. Now back to the podcast. So, we ranted about Miami for a little while. Now, question for you. You had a really good clip that I was like, dude, bro, it cuts to you and you're like, bro, there's no money in this. You guys think there no.
Early clip, yeah.
Yo,
I've
you
taken my
killed that
stance back on that. I've taken my stance back on that.
Bueno,
But
that's,
kind of.
that's something I wanted to discuss. So, talk about what you meant at the time and now kind of like what you've realized, and then we'll get into it. So
he's referencing a clip from my pilot episode of my podcast, episode 0. Should be out by the time this comes out. And basically, I had it with the OGs. It was my dad and 2 other, OGs, old heads, veterans, my dad's friends, and my friends too, family, friends and things like that. One of them was under the impression at the time that, podcasting is hot. This is where the money is at. Verbatim is what he says. And then I barely heard him, and then I asked him to reiterate. I was like, you think there's money in this? And then I go off like you said, like a 2-3 minute rant saying that there's no money in podcasting and why. And I started saying, I'm blessed. And my dad, we're blessed because we have a music studio, recording studio. We've had cameras. We've had a whole setup. So it kind of naturally turned into that. But it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of overhead. It takes a lot of bread to go into it. So at the time, I was under the impression, I didn't want people to hear that information and, kind of be misled or be brainwashed into just going broke and, quitting their day jobs and just going into podcasting. Because although it's fun, although there's money in it, at the time, I was like, I don't want everybody to kind of go into this and, blind like a chicken with its head cut off. And I did outright say that there's no money in this, and I was kind of standing on that stance. Afterwards, I've been doing my own podcast, and of course, now LeBron has his own podcast, Mind the Game with JJ Redick. Elise, Miss Dreyfus from the Friends show, Elaine from Friends, or from Seinfeld, I'm sorry. She just started her own podcast. Rogan, 100+ million deal with Spotify doing his podcast. So there's so many people starting podcasts now, and it's like, why? Because it's apparently lucrative. There's a way to keep yourself relevant. As somebody who makes music, that's why I did the podcast. I wanted to find an, easy way to kind of keep my name relevant, keep content kind of being pumped out without having to do big budget music videos every
There's
week.
nothing easy about podcasting, by the way.
It's not, exactly. But compared to, all these big, huge, visual projects I love to do for all my songs, it's like I kind of got to be realistic. Like, okay, let's get there so I could get my name and brand out there. And really, that's what I'm doing my podcast for, to build a relationship with my audience members. Because it's not like I'm doing all these meme videos. I'm not doing TikToks. Like, as I get older, it's harder for me to do all these things that kind of, I guess, express my personality, but not really. I'm just going into the new trends. Having a long-form conversation with somebody, getting to know somebody, and then that same person getting to know me, and the audience getting to know both of us, it's so refreshing, it's so therapeutic, and then it's an honest way for my audience to be like, oh, okay, that's who this person is. It's not just the highly Chico. It's not just official Heir rapping about whatever he's rapping about or singing about girls. No, this guy has personality. This guy has in-depth, opinions, whether you agree with them or not.
Right.
I'm a human, and my opinion's gonna evolve just like it did with podcasting. At first, I thought there was no money in it. Now I do see that there's money in it. Like, if you tell me I'm gonna either rap or do a podcast, I'd tell you do the podcast first. Find out who you aren't. Not who you are, find out who you aren't. Like, we're talking about editing and just realizing yourself. That shows you, I don't want to be that person. I got to change that. I got to fix that. I got to maybe work on my enunciation, work on my pronunciation. So, yeah, there is money in podcasting, but more importantly, there's growth in it, like anything in life. So if there's something you're passionate about, that's what I think you should do.
And now to add to that, right? Here's something important that whoever wants to start podcasting needs to realize. You are not LeBron. You are not Joe Rogan. You are not Patrick Bet-David.
Yeah, Montana Method.
You are not.
Or official
You're definitely
Heir.
not. No. And you're not Andrew Tate. Okay? So let's get something straight here. All those people have huge names. So they start a podcast tomorrow and they're getting a 7-figure deal. You're not that person, and I definitely was not that person, and neither was he. So if you're going to start a podcast, you need to understand that this is a long-term game. You need to do this for say, all right, I'm going to do this for 3-5 years. And after 3 to 5 years, I'm going to evaluate this industry and like what my future is in it. If you're not willing to do that right now, don't even start. Because up front, you're going to have to drop like, if you have no connections, if you don't have any friends that are creative, you're going to have to drop like $3,000 to $5,000 just on the most bullshit Mickey Mouse equipment you can find. I'm talking about the cheapest cameras you can find, the cheapest tripods, the cheapest computer, the cheapest cable, like everything cheap. If you have a budget, you're gonna drop more like $20,000 to $30,000 on a decent setup. So
cheap isn't always better. Like,
no, it's not. But I'm saying, like, if you're on a budget and you really want to start this, minimum is gonna cost you something around that, price range.
It takes money to make money.
100%.
So be prepared to spend.
Whatever you're willing to spend, whatever you're willing to invest in your brand is what you're gonna get back.
Facts.
So if you don't invest anything, you're not gonna get anything.
And back to the point we were just making, that whole podcasting about money thing, that's more of a mindset and perspective thing. That's what every art, anything you're pursuing in life, make it about the passion. Because when you make it about the passion first, the money's gonna come and go. You'll have good times, you'll have low times, but it's about the passion.
Right.
So you're always gonna be in success. You're always gonna be in the green. You're never gonna be like in the red, in the negative, mentally, in your heart, spiritually, emotionally. When you're making about the passion. But when it's about the money, then you're going to have high times, you're going to have low times. You're going to be chasing, the clout with okay, let's talk about this because it's relevant.
Right.
Let's talk about this because it's what everybody's talking about. And then what happens when nobody's talking about anything? What happens when you have to make, evergreen content? Things
exactly.
They're going to keep people talking for a long time. That's why I kind of try to stray away from like politics and like all the like.
Yeah, the day-to-day like the current event stuff.
Topical stuff, because it's like, yeah, we care about it now, but a month or two from now when the episode comes out, or even if I'm doing like I'm not backed up with episodes and I'm doing episodes the next day, for what? A year from now, people aren't going to care. I'd rather have a conversation about something that's going to be relevant 2-3 years from now, about who you are, 100%. About how you feel about things.
And check out, that's like a perfect segue. I was just on a podcast called Locked In with Ian Bick in Connecticut. He featured the episode about a couple of weeks ago. Bro, I have on his channel, on his TikTok, there's a clip of me that has like 1.2 million views or something like that. People started searching on mind you, I hate TikTok. Like TikTok is first off, I don't like the demographic. Second off, it just hasn't vibed with my content. I've had some viral clips. No, I know it will, because anything with consistency works. But it just hasn't, I haven't seen that result yet, right? That I've seen on Instagram or I've seen on YouTube. So what happened was my clip started popping on his page and people started looking up Nelson Rodriguez FBI story, Nelson Rodriguez arrest story, Nelson Rodriguez prison story.
Wow.
Clips I posted months ago. I'm talking about in December. We're in May.
Picking up now.
A clip that was at 200 views is at like at 70,000. Another clip that was at maybe at 150 is at 71,000, 72,000. Another clip I dropped 2 months ago that was at 50 views has 35,000 views,
It's a long-term thing, like you were saying.
but it's because it's evergreen content.
Word. Okay, yeah, because it's always going to be
That's how I
relevant.
brought it full circle.
Facts.
It's because it's evergreen content. I wasn't talking about P. Diddy,
Right.
which we'll probably get into at some point on the podcast.
Freaky boy.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. I'm tired of talking about that guy, but you saw that. Fuck, here
Let's
we
do
go,
it.
bro.
Let's do it. Diddy time.
Ah!
The Drizz.
Did
No,
you
that's
see-
the Diddler.
Did you see the
It's the Drizzler, the Diddler. Yeah, man. Diddy's wildin'.
the Drizzler and the Diddler?
D&D. But I ain't talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god, that's horrible. That's a good depiction of the music industry. Anyway, he dropped his first like public video yesterday. Did you
Did
see
he?
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, no. What's
Fuck,
he talking about?
I wish we could pull it up.
Well, he did. Listen, right after the allegation started, he was like in a breakfast buffet with Stevie J right next to each other. And they're like, yeah, what's up? So they've done public videos.
You know, it was weird this whole time. Homeland Security raided his crib, and he's in Miami just buying a Rolex. And
What's weird
like,
is
bro,
that anybody else gets accused of that, and they're like, listen, I'm not gay, or listen, I'm not a pedophile. They're like, whatever, you guys think what you want. Stevie J got all these accusations. All he said to 50 was like, yeah, let's fight. He didn't say none of that's not true. He didn't say, hey, I don't care about anything you're saying. Don't listen to me. He just said, yeah, let's
That's
fight.
crazy,
You're
bro.
a nerd, 50. That's all he said.
No, but then Diddy literally hasn't addressed anything until this and I don't remember the whole thing, but it's just weird, bro. It's just strange. Like, I honestly think it's just a thing to like make people talk, to not pay attention to what's really going on, just like everything else. And I'll even tie it into this, bro. The Kendrick Lamar beef and the Drake beef, which by the way, Drake won. Fuck you. Anyway. No, I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of the Kendrick Lamar fans who are fucking, no, because it had this secret code and you used the
Listen,
codex and...
I'm a Drake
Bro,
fan too. Bop-wise, if all right, so it's kind of like the ring conversation in sports. Like, who's the GOAT? You got to understand what determines the winning of the beef. Right now, I'm saying Kendrick's winning because he's dropped like 6 songs. I only like one of them.
They're trash.
Right, I only like one's really good.
Coño.
The one's really good.
So quantity over quality?
Right, but here's the thing. Drake's only dropped like 2 real songs.
Because
Everything
they're
else is
good.
parody records.
And they're better.
I feel. Yeah. But it's kind of like a war. It's like if you know, if the Taliban just do like Iraq, they do 9/11 and then they do the Pentagon attack. Those are 2 big attacks like Drake did. But then if America's just constantly blowing up their shit every day, like 6 different, you know, yeah.
I get it.
I get it too. That's why it's
get
more
it.
a matter of
Anyway,
yeah, opinion.
That's not even what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Drake won. I don't. First off, and then no. Let's take it a step further. I haven't liked any Drake music in years. So for the fact that I'm saying Drake won should tell you that it's like an unbiased opinion, because I don't even like Drake anymore. I haven't liked him since like Certified Lover Boy.
I don't really like that album. I mean, hit or miss. There's some good
no,
records.
it's not my favorite. It was good, but it wasn't my favorite. That 21 Savage album, get that shit off my radio. Like,
It was
click.
cool. I liked it.
Oh my god,
liked
trash. That other one he did that was all like female records.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, no, there's the house one. He did
That one,
Certified
that
Lover
one.
Boy.
Yeah,
House
yeah.
one was cool too, man.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's different. It's different.
I honestly haven't liked him, like bumped his music in a while, bro. Like Free Smoke was okay. No, I mean More Life, that was all right. Around there is when he started losing me.
Yeah,
Around there.
Definitely, that's the fall off.
I was hardcore. You know what's the best album he's ever made? And I
Take
don't.
Care.
Nah,
No?
nothing was the same. Was the best album he's ever made?
That's my second favorite.
Nothing was the same. There's no album. Take Care is what made everybody understand that he was gonna be a GOAT. Like bomb, but nothing was the same. Was like, bro,
My favorite intro of all time is from that album. Tuscan Leather's incredible song.
bro, nothing was the same. I can't touch the skip button. Even the single, like as played out as Pound Cake got.
I like that because in Take Care, I do hit the skip button when that Kendrick song comes on.
First
First time I heard of Kendrick was on
Isn't
that
that
album.
ironic? Isn't that ironic?
Crazy.
That whole album, everything from like 305 to My City to
I get it.
bro, every song, that song he did with the fucking Wu-Tang Forever. Oh my god,
That's a dope record too.
bro.
Crazy sample. Too Much is on that album too. That's one of my favorite songs.
Bro, you could go on and on and on. Like, there's not nonstop. The album is a classic album. That's the best album he's ever made. There's no argument. There's no. You could say
Take Care is up there, man.
Take Care is up there. Take Care is up there. But when you compare it pound for pound, nothing was the same. It's way better.
It's fire.
It's way better.
Y'all let us know what's your favorite Drake album in the comments.
Yeah, go for it. I'll do a poll or something.
Shout out to Drizzler.
Anyway, the whole point of this beef was that
Distraction. That's what you're trying to say? Yes and no.
Are they making relevant music? Let's be real here
we
for
were
a
just
second.
talking though. Metro Boomin's the one that he's the little finger behind the whole thing. I feel like he stroked the fires of this beef to get them going.
You know what Drake is a genius at? He's a genius at writing trends. He just did that song with Shorty Red, que es tremenda mierda también. She sucks. She's trash. She's part of the whole reason that society is degrading. All right.
I love Sexy Red. I love her.
Shorty Red, bro. She's like, I raw
I'm
dog.
looking for the hoe.
Oh
That's my girl,
Trash.
dog. I love
Trash.
her.
Trash.
That energy the game needed. And
I'll
it's
take
kind
Cardi B over her any day.
I'll take Cardi B too, but I'll take both of them over Nicki Minaj because it's real. It's organic. You could tell, oh, she's straight from the hood. She's exactly how she is in the hood.
Good.
Nicki, she gets on stage and in a video, it's like, this is an act. This isn't real.
Bro. Look, Nicki will destroy them lyrically any day of the week.
Facts. That's a different conversation. I'm
Second
talking
off,
about liking the artist, appreciating the artist, and it's like I appreciate that realness. That realness, like
you
it's
could
good.
be real
it's not
without being
refined.
disgusting. Come on, bro.
But if you're really disgusting, then be disgusting. Like, do you feel me? If you're really gangster, if you really shout out, be shout out. Don't hide it, because then we're gonna see through the hiding. And like, I wanted to say this because you said all these things are kind of distractions. Yes, but I also feel like right now we live in a place where everything comes to light. Every single
There's
thing.
no secrets anymore. Yeah.
No, and even if you try to keep it a secret, look, I just recently, this new story going on, if you haven't heard about it, you might soon. One of the biggest comedians and podcasters in the world pays his openers for arenas and theaters $100.
Damn, son.
Theo Von. Huge. The money that guy's making off podcast appearances, off shows, off his
and you've been
special.
to that. You've been the opener who's made
Chico. And yeah, he's been that, but his whole character, I've known of Theo Von since MTV, like Real World Road Rules challenges.
Yeah.
So I've known him for a long time.
I didn't even know
seen
he was a comedian.
I didn't realize the full circle moment after. I'm like, oh, that's the same guy from back in the day? That's crazy. He's blown up. He's huge. I love Theo Von, but that's the new story. A bunch of comedians have come out saying, yeah, I've got it paid by, I'm not going to say who, but then the internet, all the people have done the math.
Dots,
And it's like, bro, you can't get away with anything nowadays. All that character shit you put out, if you're not really living by that, if you're not really standing by that,
it'll come out at some point.
you're going to get exposed.
Yeah.
So just be you, be real, be authentic. Look, Nicki Minaj never had a #1 till like the other day with Tekashi. Cardi B got a #1 off the rip. My point is, people gravitate to realness. People gravitate to the authenticity. I love Drake, but he loses a lot of points because he's not authentic. He has different characters.
He's a trend
Today's
writer.
Jamaican.
He's a trend writer.
Tomorrow he's,
He's a trend writer, 100%. And every era of his career, he's made a track with the guy that was hot at the time. He made that whole album with 21 Savage. Donde venga está 21 Savage now? Now he's making a track
writing
with...
music for Lotto.
Now, look at Shorty Red. He's making a track with Shorty. Where's that chick going to be in 5 years, bro?
Sexy Red. Right?
No, is
Shorty
it
Red?
Shorty
There's
Red?
a Shorty Red too? There's
It's
Sexy Red and
Sexy
Shorty
Red.
Red.
See, I don't even know her name.
Looking for the hoes of
Sexy Red. I'm sorry, Sexy Red. Don't get offended.
Sexy Red, if you're listening, and we know you are, come through. Come do our podcast. Do mine at least.
That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. The point is, I'll give you that. It could be that they're authentic, or it could be that they're leaning hard into what people like nowadays, which is raunchy, fucking slutty, trashy, kind of like hot.
Both could be true at the same time. People like that nowadays. They realize that's what I am.
And
Let me lean into
they could
this.
be sluts,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've said this since I was a little kid. Everybody's a slut for the right person. I have loved ones that grew up loving Justin Bieber, and it's, as much as it breaks my heart, I'm like, listen, Justin Bieber picks her out of the crowd, and she's of age. They're gonna do their thing. What am I gonna do? Lie to myself?
Nah, but not. Listen, but Sexy Red, no, bro. They are that way. Like Cardi B was a stripper. This is public knowledge. Cardi B was a stripper.
Well, you could be a slut without it being your. So what's worse? Somebody who's getting paid to do it, or somebody who's doing it for fun?
That's a good question.
You feel me?
I think it's worse. Fuck, that's a great question. Is it worse if you're getting paid for it, or if you're doing it for fun? Damn, that's the question of the century.
It's perspective and it's mentality and it's like it's context too, because it's like, yeah, I'm out hoeing, I'm having fun, but I'm not getting paid $1. I'm not doing anything. I'm not advancing my career. You're a loser. Oh yeah, I'm getting paid, I'm having fun, and I'm advancing my career, and I understand this is gonna get me that feature I want, this collab I want, it's gonna open that door. I get it.
And then let's get this straight. Cardi B is acting out a persona that she used to be. She's not that girl anymore. She's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She's super rich. All that hoeing around shit. Like, if you think that's for real with where she has it in her life, then you're insane.
You saw her go viral about her kids. You saw
that she cheated on this guy.
No. I'm talking about she went viral this year, last year, because her kids were listening to like WAP or something, and she's like doing live stream, and the second she hears her kid playing it, she takes the phone from the kids like, nah, what are you doing? You can't listen to that. What's wrong with you? The internet lighting her up. Oh, so you can make music so my kids can listen to it, but yours can't. my point is, yeah, that's the whole point. I raised my kids a certain way. My parents didn't want, I used to have to go to my cousin's family to play Grand Theft Auto because my parents didn't want me playing it at an age. They used to try me about it. And eventually they caught me at my cousin's house. They're like, okay, we see what's going on here. And I thought it was the end of the world. But the truth is, they instilled that fear, and they instilled that, hey, don't do this. This is wrong. This is foul. You shouldn't be going to strip clubs.
It's up to the parents to instill that. I agree. It's not. Don't blame Cardi B.
Censorship. And just because she's making the music doesn't mean you got to do it. 100%. Drug dealers are selling drugs. Doesn't mean they want their kids on drugs.
I agree. That's up to the parents there's always gonna be like inappropriate stuff that your kid's not supposed to see, and it's up to you to protect your kid from that. That's not. I'm not blaming Cardi B for like how kids are turning out. What I'm saying is. And I wasn't even talking about
the persona.
She's playing a persona. That's not who she is anymore. That's who she was. That was stripper Cardi B, not super successful.
Like Jeezy talking about selling drugs when supposedly he did it back in the day, or he never did it. Like these rappers.
I mean, rappers do it all the time. It's the same difference, right?
Exactly,
they don't sell drugs
That's my
now.
point. Yes.
You know, Jay-Z doesn't sell drugs now. He still raps about selling. He raps about selling crack like he did yesterday. But he's not selling. Bro, he's a fucking billionaire. Like, let's be real here for a second. And that's what people love. Oh, Rick Ross. All these people. They're talking about shit they did, 50,
or shit they never
20, 15. Yeah, and in many cases, many rappers never sold a fucking drug, never hung around drug dealers. You know what I mean? So it's okay to make money off a persona. And I get it. You're an artist. You have to bring something to life and sell it. And that's who you are when you make music. But I do also agree with what she did with her kids. Like, actually, she's being a good mother.
Exactly.
And she's being a good business person, because if that's the music that sells, you make the music that sells so you can make a shitload of money and be super, super successful. And then just when you get home, you're a mother, and you're a good mother to your kids, and you don't let them listen to certain stuff. Of course. You
have to, because if not, they're going to do it, and it's like, it's your fault. All I have to do is say no. Like, it's control what you could control in life. Like that's all we have. Like, there's only 100%. So many things that we have control and access to turn off or to hang out with. Like, there's only so many things we could control in life. Why not make that little bit of effort, especially if it's your son, loved one, family member, friend, fellow podcaster? Sure. Like, speak up, because one day you're not going to be able to say anything, or that person's going to be gone, and you're going to be like, damn,
and then you're going to regret it.
Exactly,
yeah,
bro.
Definitely. Alrighty, guys, we got to pay bills. Second sponsor coming up. Christian J. Deposit secured funding. Alrighty, guys, taking a quick break from the podcast to bring you a word from our sponsor, Christian J. Depaz. Appreciate him for coming through. He offers a phenomenal service. Guys, you know I'm a big promoter of entrepreneurship, owning a company, starting a business, doing your own thing, and chasing your own dreams. But as the old saying goes, it takes money to make money. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Christian J. Depaz and what he does. He gets funding for new and startup businesses. Christian, tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you so much, bro, for the opportunity to come inside your podcast and help more entrepreneurs start their own business or scale their current businesses. So what we do here at Secure Funding is that we'll help you acquire anywhere between $50,000 to $150,000 at 0% interest rate business credit, so you can once again start or scale your current business. So if you come here from our good friend Nelson, there's no other you're coming from the Montana Method Podcast, and we'll take extra good care of you. With that being said, brother, thank you so much for bringing us on.
Of course. What are you waiting for, guys? Click the link in the bio. So at one point, I had about 30 or 40 episodes in the bank, and I thought I had a lot of content put away. But bro, you by far take the cake. You've been making podcasts for like
2 months,
2 years. You've been making podcasts for like 6 years.
Feels like it.
You're killing it, dog. And I'm here excited because we did this episode, and I'm like, oh my God. Now, I remember that this guy's done like 30 episodes, and they're all in the pipe, and I'm number 29.
No, I'm going to mess with my schedule. You're actually going to come out of my first 10, pero yeah, we started filming mid-February, and, just banking them. My goal is to get to 58, as quick as possible. I'm already like halfway there. The key is, I'm doing like one day out of the week, but I'm doing like double sessions sometimes. Sometimes I'm even doing 3 episodes in one day. So.
I've done 4 episodes in a day. That's
at an hour long at least. It takes a lot, dude, and it's not just the time and energy, but it's the mental fortitude. It's the mental capacity. I'm trying to have a good conversation with good bits. And like my podcast, I don't want it just to be informative. I don't want it just to be a good vibe. I want it to be both. I want it to be a hang, informative, and a good vibe. So it's I'm trying to do in deep, research. And like my goal is to vibe as much as Rogan, like have a cool free-flowing conversation like that, but then be as informative and like mind-blowing as Nardwar. So I'm trying to find a middle ground where it's like, oh, how'd you know that? But wow, that's how you knew that. And so But it's hard, man. The clips are fun though, and it's like it's really reinvigorated me. At the beginning of the year, I had a little bit of a depression. You know, my sales job wasn't doing what it wanted. The music wasn't doing what it wanted. I just felt like I needed something, you know, to stimulate my life, and it wasn't really that, but it was just something was missing. I felt like I was drowning, and I even started doing a journal every day just to like, yo, what am I grateful for today? And I started that literally for all of January and then middle of February. And then I started shooting the podcast, and then I just forgot about the journal because every single day I was waking up, editing the full episodes, editing clips, finding out what works on the clips, studying, looking at other people's, looking at your clips, looking at other people's clips. Oh, that's how they do it. This is where they put their logos. This is how they use the Instagram. And it just, you know, got rid of that, you know, depression, that lack of, you know, want in my life. And it just got me going, and it got the ball rolling. And I'm very grateful for it. It's really fun. It's a lot of work, but it's funny when you're sleep deprived from going out and partying. The next day you're like lacking energy. You like don't want to do anything. When I'm sleep deprived from working, editing, from podcasting, it's like the next day I'm like, yo, it's tough, but I gotta get going. Let me hop in the shower. Let me do my thing because I gotta get the next thing done on my list, on my to-do list. It's fun, man. The clips are there. I'm going hard on the clips now because they're not full episodes out. We're planning to start dropping the full episode by the end of May, if not early part of June. We're going to do weekly basis. We're going to have full video episodes on YouTube and X, and then audio everywhere you listen to podcasts. So just, little by little working it. I'm fixing the fine details. Got to, figure out all the graphics and all that. But I want it to be on point because like we were saying earlier, cheap isn't always better.
No.
And I had people reach out from the woodworks, give me a bunch of free things, and I love them. Them reaching out to me, all my team members, everybody that helped me at the beginning, just fans. Thank you so much, guys. But it's now I have a vision for it. The podcast has grown into something, and I have these insecurities where it's like, no, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look visually where it's supposed to be, and it could change in the future. But I gotta, put these final touches on it. This, cherry on top, these sprinkles on the ice cream and the cake. Like I gotta make it presentable, and that's where we're at right now with it. Trying to get like this, trying to get to your level, baby.
All right, let's see if I get the exclusive. You heard it here first on Montana Method. The Aircast premiere date.
No date yet. No date yet. If I could, I would.
Who has the tomatoes? Who's got the tomatoes? Throw the tomatoes, bro.
You can animate it.
No, bro, this guy. All right.
Yeah, if I could, I would. Imagine. The thing is, I don't want to set to a date. Kind of like when my whole life on social media, I never put like a shirtless picture because then I feel like, accountability. Now I have to go to the gym every single day and watch my diet. I never do it because I'm scared. But scared money don't make no money.
Exactly. No, you put a good peer pressure is never a bad thing.
Facts.
Good peer pressure is like, bro, what are you doing smoking a cigarette? I thought you said you were gonna quit. Good peer pressure is like, bro, didn't you just leave AA? Like you just quit drinking a month ago and now you want to fucking drink a beer in front of me?
Good peer pressure is, yo, 5 more reps.
Yes.
Give me another 5 more reps.
Yes.
Give me 2 more.
Yes.
You got it. I
Yes.
love that clip you guys had about that. That's real.
Good peer pressure is, yo, bro, what's going on? Like you said you were gonna drop the episode on this day. It's been a week. What's up? That's good peer pressure. Bad peer pressure is, fuck that podcast, bro. Let's go drink a beer. Oh no, bro, you're being a pussy. Hit the joint, bro. You're being a pussy. Hit the joint. That's bad peer pressure. And people who act like that around me, I tell them once, I'm like, yo, no. The answer is no. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. That's all bullshit to me. All right, that's all distraction. I need to be very sober and very, very, very centered for what I'm doing in my life. Like I have to work on my craft. I have to do edit. When I'm not editing, I'm thinking about who the next guest. If I'm not booking a guest, I'm in the studio recording an episode. If I'm not recording an episode, I'm collaborating on other podcasts. Like, and I need to be centered, bro. And people are like, oh no, but you sound like you don't enjoy your life. No, I enjoy my life even more than you do, because I'm doing what I love, bro.
Facts.
But the reality is, it's gonna take every ounce of effort I have and more to take this to where I want to take it. And I can't afford to go, like you said, bro, when you're hungover, when you wake up and you feel like shit, that throws off your whole day. And that's one more day. I'm not where I want to be.
Worst part about drinking is the cost, and the cost is the day after. Can't stand it.
100%, bro.
Can't stand it.
Go look at anybody who's a top performer. Go look at the people that you really idolize in life. And I bet you some of them, like Patrick Bet-David's a guy I really look up to. And, bro, he says the same shit. He's like, bro, every convention I go to, every business meeting, if they're drinking, I buy one old-fashioned, and I have that shit in my hand the whole night, and I don't take a sip. I don't take one sip from that thing. I just have the drink to make it, whatever, I bought a drink.
Trophy wife, just to like kind of have it in your hand,
Because the guy's on point. And any of the guys that are kind of where I want to be, him and the Elliott's another one. Like all the guys who are at the top of social media and have a big voice and a big name and have kind of like the influencer vibe going on, bro, none of them drink. None of them drink. They don't see the point in it. Wes Watson's another one that's like doing big things, and none of them do drugs. None of them, because it seems like a waste of time. It's like, bro, I need my energy to get this done. And if I don't have my energy, I can't get anything done.
Right.
So this is literally a deterrent from my dreams and goals.
Yeah.
Why do you drink? Ask yourself that question. I want everybody think about that for a second. Why do you drink? Oh, because it's fun. Oh, because my friends do it. Really? Because your friends do it? Because it's fun? You don't look like you're having fun when you're hungover. I'm just saying.
No, it's true. Facts. And because some people answer anxiety, because I've had a long day. Drinking makes the day longer. Anxiety increases when you drink because then your mind is just looking for something to cover up the anxiety. It's not fixing what's causing your anxiety. Your anxiety is caused by your life, 100%. Your lack of hustle, your lack of success in whatever, in your relationship, in your job, in your podcast. That's why you're having anxiety.
Drinking, drugs, alcohol.
It's all an escape.
Nicotine, fucking food, stuff in your face.
Homie, all that, yeah. And I did want to say that because I have that like close to my heart, and it's like, a drug isn't just something you get high off, like, a substance. Right. A drug is this podcasting could be a drug. There's a universe where I'm podcasting every single day. I'm breaking the bread. I got my cameraman coming every day. I don't care. I'm dogging my guests out, and every day I'm doing a podcast, and it's just because it makes me feel good. I love the content. I love the views on Instagram. That's unhealthy. That's a drug. That's a crackhead. Like, thank God I'm not there. Thank God I love the uniqueness of, once a week, it's my ritual. I have my 20 questions for each guest. I'm doing maybe 2 guests at most. And it's their time, it's my time. I'm looking forward to it. All week I'm doing my research, listening to the podcast, listening to their music, going deep dives in their stuff. And it's a balance. It's not overdoing it. Same thing with music. Same thing with going to the gym. If you're going to the gym 5 times a day and you're not giving yourself a body to rest, your body time to rest, you're not going to get the gains you want. You can't be an extremist in anything in life. An extremist, an obsessive person, that's a turnoff. The second I see you're big on one thing, whether it's politics, food, anything, it's like, oh, wait, what's going on here?
Just like in working out and like being an athlete, there's a point where you're overtraining. There's a point where you're not going to get results anymore. You're just literally like, you're exercising for the sake of exercising, and it's not going to benefit your body at all. It's the same thing in putting in work in a career, in a business, and in whatever. There's only a certain amount of hours where you're a peak performer. 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 hours where you're like,
prime time.
But when you're working 12, when you're working 14, you haven't slept, you haven't eaten anything, you're not working out, you're not taking care of your body, you're getting stressed easily. That all plays into your performance. That's another thing you have to take into account. So when I say balance, when I say things are good in moderation, it doesn't mean slow down on your grind. It doesn't mean slow down on your hustle. It means optimize your hustle. Make sure you're resting. I do yoga. I meditate. I do things to make sure that when I show up, I'm productive and I'm 100% Nelson. Because if I don't do those things, if I don't go to sleep early, I go to sleep at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Like,
wow.
I go to sleep early.
Incredible.
If I don't go to sleep early, if I don't get my 8 hours, if I don't work out, if I don't eat right, then when I'm here, I'm not who I should be. It's not about the amount of hours you're putting in. It's about what state are you in? How many hours are you in that physical state, in that peak state, right? And how long can I sustain this for? And once I'm not in the state anymore, that's it. Stop.
The quality of the hours is important too. Because if you're doing 24 hours a day and only 2 of those hours you're productive, be it this, or give me 5 hours of the day, or give me 2 hours, and the rest of the 22 hours of the day, do you. Go rest, sleep, eat, drink, do anything that's going to get you back to you. Correct. And then that way, when you come back to these 2 hours, you're on point. I have so many people in my life that are constantly doing a million things and they're constantly spreading themselves too thin. It's like, bro, none of this is at the level you want it to be because 100%. You're doing all these things. Focus on one and master that. Jack of all trades, master of none. It's like, 100%. I'm constantly preaching that. And yeah, mind you, I'm the guy who podcasts, has, a corporate sales job, makes music, wants to make movies, wants to act. I do all these things too, pero, it's
one thing
a
at
process.
a time.
Exactly. One thing at a time.
There's only so much you can focus on.
Step by step.
There's an old
Great
saying.
TV show.
Yeah. There's an old saying Confucius has that if you chase 5 rabbits, you're not gonna catch one.
Wow, that's fire. I've never heard that.
If you chase 5 things at once, you're not gonna even catch one of them. But if you focus on one thing and you make that your task and you get better at it day by day by day, eventually you're gonna get it and you're gonna be the best at it. Focus is so underrated, especially in a society where the TikTok videos and it's like, YouTube Shorts, TikTok video, Instagram, this person DM'd you. Oh, my God. Yeah, blah, blah, blah,
It's a superpower.
Bro.
It's a superpower to be able
really
to lock
is.
it and focus. And
To focus.
be on one specific, concise thing. That's why whenever I hear an album that's a theme album or like a special, a comedy special, a lot of comedy specials just, strung together. Or for a year or so, my favorite special was Ari Shafir. He dropped a special called Jew. And it was just an hour-long special about being a Jew. All the jokes about Jew, the intricacies of being a Jew, the stomach problems, all these things that I never learned about. But it was precise, it was concise, it was all about that. And it's, as a fan of art and as somebody who's getting into comedy, I appreciated it so much. And it blew all the other specials out of the water because it's like, it's an idea, it's a theme, it's a reoccurring theme, it's an ongoing thing. And it took him years to write. It's a real thing that he lived, but I appreciate it because it's authentic and it's unique and it's focused.
100%. Yeah. Focus is underrated. Focus and like, real quality time is underrated. It's forget doing a million things, getting good at a million things, because if you try to get good at a million things, you're not going to get good at any of them. Focus on getting, what does this require of me? This specific thing that I want to get good at. All right, this requires these 6 skills. All right, I'm not going to worry about getting good at anything else except these 6 skills. Anything you want to get good at, there's always like a half dozen basic fundamentals. It doesn't matter whether it's boxing, whether it's podcasting, whether it's starting a business, whether it's whatever. I can pick out the 6 most different industries in the world, and each one of them, if I go up to like Mike Tyson in boxing, if I go up to Joe Rogan in comedy, if I go up to Patrick Bet-David in podcasting, if I go up to whoever, I could go up to the best person in that industry, and they'll be like, this, and this, and this.
That's a power in itself, though. When your mind automatically organizes things like as an outline, that's kind of how I recently learned. Like, not everybody's mind does that.
We talked about the power of the outline on your
exactly
when
we did it. Yeah, having that conversation with you,
sure.
And it's easier. That's how your mind, kind of processes and digests the information. At least for me, easier.
Right.
When I'm going into like chapters or like I'm trying to write a script, it's like, okay, this is the first half. This is everything that goes in the first half. When it comes to an album, okay, this is the beginning of the album. These are the bangers. This is the love songs. These are the plot. Okay, this is the energy. This is the introspective. It's good to have a vision, and not just with art, but with life. Okay, this is my week. This is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm doing at night. This is when it's time to rest. This is when it's time to wake up.
Sure. 100%.
Structure's key.
My brother, we've been here an hour already. Flew by.
Time flies when you're having fun.
For sure. So I usually wrap up the podcast asking 3 questions. So question number 1, what inspires you?
Life, people, day to day, waking up and being alive. This right now in this podcast, in this moment, with one of the GOATs of podcasting, inspires me. And inspiration is like a shower. Nobody's going to tell you got to do it every day, but you got to find different reasons to do it every single day. That's my answer to that.
That's a good one, bro. For me, that's... man, you do have to do it every day.
And different reasons. One day you might go to the gym and you're sweaty. Other days you might have a long day at work. Other days you might be stuck in traffic. You got to shower. Same thing with inspiration. One day it's the podcast. The day it's the music. One day it's both. One day it's a movie. Every single day. Some days I'm just broke and I don't got nothing going on. It's like, dog, if I had $1 million right now, this wouldn't be an issue. Inspiration.
100%. No, inspiration is definitely, for me, inspiration, it goes beyond, it's like ethereal. You know what I mean? It's hard to really... So the word inspire, inspiros, it's Greek. It means breathe life into.
Wow.
So when you're inspired, for me, at least for me, when I'm inspired, I feel life being breathed into me. I feel the presence of like that energy of the universe or God, whatever you believe in. I feel that energy being poured into me all of a sudden. And being inspired does take revisiting. And, okay, let me go back to that made me feel that way or made me had this thought. Because it's easy to, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm inspired. As soon as, if you're divorced, your baby mama calls you up, you owe $3,000 in child support, that inspiration is gone. As soon as someone calls you up, hey, listen, I have really bad news, bro. Your aunt, yeah, she just died of cancer. Boom. That inspiration could be gone in a second. The second the cops show up at your house and you're indicted by the federal government, that inspiration is gone overnight. Gone. So that is very important. Find ways to keep inspiring yourself. Not motivate yourself, because motivation is bullshit.
Facts.
Motivation is garbage. Inspire yourself. Keep going back to what inspires you. That is something I try to do. I try to keep what inspires me like in front of me at all times. At all times. I'm always in front of, like, I love just being in here, being around my set, and like looking at my content, trying to see other content that I want to be like. I watch Joe Rogan often. You know what I mean? Watching that inspires me. So I agree 100%. I couldn't agree more.
80-20 too, like what you were saying. Life is 20%, who you are and what you have and what you're born with. 80% what happens to you and how you deal with it.
100%. You can control nothing in this life. Control is an illusion.
Very, very few things.
Control is a joke. People, control freaks out there that want to control everything. You're not controlling anything.
The delusion and illusion of control.
You know why? Because ultimately you're going to die. That's part of life.
Guaranteed.
Part of the deal of living and having a great life, having the chance to have a great life, is that you die at the end of it. So all that stuff you're trying to control, yeah, you can't control shit.
Olvídate de eso. Forget about it.
So ultimately, there's only one thing in life you can control: how you react to what happens to you.
Facts.
And if you take responsibility and you understand that that's the only thing you can control, life takes on a whole nother. That's like a whole nother conversation. Second question: what's next for the official Heir?
Next, literally, physically, we're about to shoot a music video. Work creating content. Truth about content creating is it never ends. It's constantly happening, whether you're editing, thinking of new ideas, thinking of new songs to make ideas and content for. It's always going on, man. We got Mark, the shooter, in the building right now. He's helping me, my right hand, with all the content creating too. So that's all it is, man. Doing a new music video. Got like 3 records in mind that we might do. Got to pick which one it is. Either way, it's gonna be hard, and it's probably gonna be out by the time this video comes out. This song comes out.
So what? Before I ask you the last question, content creation, right? That's something I wanted you to maybe touch up on. From your perspective, if someone has never made content and they're like, all right, bro, I'm gonna start making content, what are 3 quick tips you would honestly give them if they were your friend and they approach you and like, look, bro?
Fire. I just had this conversation with my dad recently. It's not about the quality of production. It's not about how much money's going into it. It's about the quality of content you're creating. One of my favorite YouTube accounts is a guy who just covers comedy podcasts and like relevant stories. You don't see his face. You don't see a set. All you see is other people's media and his voice going over it, talking about it. Too lazy to try. And all you see is a George Costanza, a picture of George Costanza. That's his image. That's like his brand, his logo. And just him covering content. But the thing is, all his videos are unique. He's the one that put me onto the Theo Von story. All these unique stories and like angles that nobody else has done. And now you'll see a bunch of other accounts kind of re-corroborate the information, but he's first to it. That is the key to content creation. Be unique. Even if somebody else has said it, say it in a different way. Position it in a different way. Same thing with music. Everybody feels like every song has been said already. Every rhyme's already been said. It hasn't been presented the way you could present it. So when it comes to content creating, don't worry. Yes, the budget, the set, all this helps, but it's not about that. It's about the message you're trying to point across. Don't lie to yourself and get into, oh, this is my audience and this and that, because you don't know. You're creating this content, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So just put it out there. Work, but make sure it's something you're passionate on. So my first one would be, don't worry about the budget. Don't let that be an obstacle. You don't know. For me, myself, I'm not going to shoot videos because I don't have a camera. I don't have a good camera yet. Could have done it off my phone. I'm not going to do a podcast because I don't have a good setup yet. I could have done it off my phone. But I gave myself those excuses, and now it's full throttle. The truth is, if I would have started years ago, I'd be on your level right now. I'd be 2 seasons deep, 100 episodes deep. But I waited. Second thing is, my second piece of advice then would be, don't wait. Don't wait. How many times I've came up with song ideas, and now I hear Drake and all these people with the song ideas, like, I should have been put that on wax. I should have been done that. Cover something immediately. Don't just do it for the clout. But if it's something that you know in your heart you want to talk about, even if it's not necessarily relevant, or even if you feel like, oh, not too many people are gonna like this, not too many people are gonna want to have this conversation or listen to this conversation, do it. You want to do it, and that's what matters. You are you, and that's truer than true, and that's the powerful thing you could do. And then the third thing is longevity. It's chess, not checkers. Checkers is a quick, fast-paced game. Chess is a long-paced game. You got to think 3 steps ahead, 5 if you're gonna be good. And that's what this is. Like Montana said earlier, it's 3-5 years, give yourself. Comedians don't consider themselves a real comedian until you've been doing it for 10 years, eating shit on stage for nonstop. Music, I feel like it's 20. It has to be more than 10. You're never really there until you're putting yourself time and giving yourself that leeway to grow and evolve and develop. So that's my 3 steps. Don't worry about the budget. Don't let that be a step, because it's about quality of content. The second thing is don't wait. Attack. Hit it while the iron's hot. If you're passionate about it, jump on it. And then the last step is, just keep going. Don't let none of those things distract you, and, nonstop, because content creation, there's always going to be reasons to stop. There's always going to be a reason to not do it. It's your job to give yourself one reason why to do it.
Solid to me. Fire, man. Last question. How do you want to be remembered when you're no longer here?
A good person, man. A nice person. That's, just a loving person. Albeit they're good or nice, just a person that loved his family and loved what he did in life. I could ask for so much more. I could want to be remembered, want my songs everywhere, 100,000 subscribers. Albeit that. So one day we're all going to be long gone. It's going to be a solar flare. There's not going to be any more internet for all we know. As long as the people say stories of official or like, yo, that guy wasn't that bad. That's cool, man.
Who knows? It could be a civil war. It could be a solar flare.
It could be both.
An asteroid that hits us. I hope it's that big ass gold asteroid they've been looking at up there.
Yikes.
They said there's enough gold on that asteroid to make everybody a billionaire on the planet. Bro, you know what we gotta do? We gotta come up with like a rocket ship or some shit and go up and mine that gold and bring that shit back is what we gotta do. Bring
podcast from space coming soon.
Bring back like 5 billion worth of gold. I'm straight. 1 billion for you, 1 billion for me, and like 3 billion.
Sure, give me $250,000. I'll make that work right now.
You sound like my dad, bro. I used to watch Deal or No Deal with my dad when I was a kid. You remember that show, Deal or No Deal, with Howie Mandel?
Shout out Howie,
bro. And you know how they would do like, 25,000. No, but it'd be like the second one. My dad was like, "Tá loco, man. I'm out.
I'm out. That's it. Less is more, baby. That's all I need."
My dad, shout out. Love you, Bobby.
Shout out to dads.
Oh, man. Anyway. Brother, appreciate you coming through.
Thanks for having me, my bro.
Tell everybody how they can connect with you.
Official Air everywhere. The Aircast coming soon.
Fire. I love it. The
Aircast. Him D's on Instagram.
THC.
In the building.
I love how you've branded everything THC, the Aircast.
The Air Corporation, the Hialeah Chico. Together helping communities.
I love it.
That's what we do, baby.
Alrighty, guys. Another episode of Montana Method Podcast with your host, Nelson, a.k.a. Montana. Special guest, Official Air 305. As always, push it to the limit. The world is yours. And if you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless, guys. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
I've been out here hustling all my life. Every day we get into it. Really out here in these streets. That's day and night. Like there's nothing to it. When I was going through it, dog, I never got your call. I never asked for nothing, no. But now I want it all. I promise I'ma do it. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags to riches. Rags to riches. Came from rags.